Yo guys, Joey River up here bringing you my UPBA Season 3 draft analysis. I'm really excited to be a part of this league. I've been waiting a whole season in the Discord server for it. Really thankful for Chris and Vergoth for giving me a chance to be part of it. And the league looks really well made. Props to Chris and Vergoth for making it look so professional. They really put a lot of effort in it. So let's get right into the picks. I'm gonna try to make this analysis as decently short as possible. First, we got Kieran Black, and for this league, I wanted to go with something more familiar to me, and Kieran Black is definitely one of those mons that I've used a lot in draft. And the mon, it's really amazing. It's an offensive monster with 170 attack, 120 base special attack, and great coverage. It gets Earth Power, Dragon Claw, Dragon Pulse, Draco, Flash Cannon for those pesky fairies, Earth Power for those pesky steel types, Fusion Bolt for the water types, bulky water types, and gets Light Screen. I guess I can and Reflect. I guess I can bring a light clay set and be annoying with it. And this mon is one of my sea captains, the other being Volcarona. And I don't think I have to explain much why I chose Kieran Black to be one of my sea captains. If something wall set somewhat, I can just hit a sea move and destroy that mon pretty effectively. And the only thing that bothers me from Kieran, it's speed. If he was 100, he would probably be banned actually. So leave it like that. Its speed, it's meh, to be frank with you, but it definitely compensates with his other stats. So let's move on to my second pick, the Skarmory, which is a Pokemon that I've never used before, and I need a Steel for my Fairy Dragon Steel Core, and I know that Skarmory gets picked very early most of the time, and I got the chance to pick it round 2, and I'm happy about it because it gives me a lot of hazard control. It can set up set hazards, take them away, Whirlwind and Brave Bird. I can counter with it, and it's just a great typing, only weak to electric and fire. Electric, Kieran can take the electric moves if necessary, and its job is just to come in, take hits, roost off the damage, and set up hazards or taking them away. That's just his basic job. It could run some things like Tailwind, Taunt, Toxic. It could vary from time to time, but his role is just gonna be the same for most of the time. And it's also part of my Fairy Dragon Steel Core, which, finishing it off, is Primarina, which takes the fire move these two don't take. It's a great wall breaker. I've used it in the past and faced against it in the past, and I know it's really hard to prep for this mon because 126 special attack with the water and fairy stab just breaks through teams, and this Pokemon is tier 3, which is definitely worth it. I picked it 3rd round even though it was a tier 3. That's how good this mon is. It also has decent bulk, with mostly on the SPDF, not much on the defense. 74 is not great, but it can take some special defense, some special attacks. The only downside is that it doesn't get recovery, but most of the time it's just gonna go to the field and threaten something with a Moonblast or a Surf. and it's really good at that job. Next, for my Mega, it's Mega Manectric. And the reason, the reason I chose Mega Manectric purely because it was a tier 2 Mega. And that's so much value on tier 2. This mon has it has perfect coverage in my opinion. It has the electric stab, which only grass, other electrics, and the ground can take. Well, I can run hidden power ice for the ground and fire for for the the grass, or I can run hidden power grass for something like Swampert and still run flamethrower for his grass type. It can be really tricky if for my opponent to prep for this mon. The only thing to wall it is with something really bulky, or another electric type, I guess. And his speed and special attack is great. Just 134, 35. That's the speed of Mega Lopunny. We all know how speedy that thing is. And great special attack, almost like Mega Lopunny. This kind of a this in some regards is a special electric Lopunny. And with Intimidate, which is kind of meh, it's still really frail. So for the Intimidate to be a real viable thing to use, but it's still really nice to have it. But before I Mega, I also have the Lightning Rod, so if I have to switch to an electric type move, I can just send it and raise my special attack, which is really nice. And for my fifth pick, I picked Cresselia. The reason I picked Cresselia is because Reuniclus got sniped. I wanted Reuniclus, but they picked it before my turn. But I'm not too mad about that because Cresselia is a great bulky mon. Just look at the stats: 120 HP with 120 defense and 130 special defense. That's just insane. With decent speed for a bulky mon too. And 75, it's meh on the special attack, but for a bulky mon, 75 is pretty decent in my opinion. So it's a mon just this mon is just gonna annoy people with the it can be run Calm Mind. It has reliable recovery with Moonlight. It has moves for the dark types like Moonblast, and he stabs Psychic. Ira can also run Trick if I really want to. I could be creative with it, but again, it's just gonna come in and take a hit. Cresselia is basically, I say that Cresselia is basically like duct tape for your team. If you have a mon that you need to prep that's not a bug, fire, not a fire, that's not a bug, a dark, or a ghost, just slap Cresselia and you'll wall it. And I'm pretty sure you'll wall it just fine. It just covers a lot of weaknesses on your team if you need to. Okay, for my sixth pick, I got Volcarona. And the reason I picked Volcarona is because Infernape got sniped. But again, I'm not too mad about that snipe because Volcarona is a great offensive threat too. It can set up with Quiver Dance, great special attack actually, and good speed. With one Quiver, you're gonna outspeed everything that's not like a Nihilego Scarf or something. And yeah, I think that's pretty much what this mon does, just set up and sweep. The only thing that walls it is another fire type, or someone with thick fat like Snorlax or a Miltank. Yeah, something like that can definitely wall it. But I'm really excited to use this mon. I've never used it before in the past, and it's one of my favorite Gen 5 mons. And I know, and I faced against it before, and I know it's really hard to prep for this mon. And let's go to my lower tier picks, being Mienshao as the 7th pick. And I picked Mienshao because I got sniped Mok Alolan. The the thing I did to modify my draft after that snipe is I went with Skunk Tank on tier 4. I originally wanted Hitmonlee on tier 4, but since Muk got sniped, I decided to switch the roles here. And I decided to go with Mienshao. And again, I'm not mad about it. Mienshao is a really speedy mon, good attack, even good special attack. I could run a cheeky hidden power if I want to. And the abilities, Regenerator and Reckless, are just really viable to use. I could run Life Orb with it, and you know, just U-turn out. And speaking of moves, this mon has great coverage too. It gets Poison Jab for the fairies. Here it is, and it also gets knockoff for the ghosts. And the other being another move, a hard hitting move being a high jump kick, is just gonna do a lot of damage to a team. It can set up with Swords Dance too, which is pretty awesome to do. It also gets Baton Pass. I'm not too sure about the rules on Baton Pass. I'm gonna have to ask Chris or Vergoth about that, or just check the doc. I'm sure it's there somewhere. So I'm gonna have to check the rules on Baton Pass. It also gets Fake Out. I like Fake Out. Let's move to my 8th pick, and surprise, I got sniped again. I got sniped Serena, which is another reason why I wanted Skunk Tank, because it gives me another defogger or hazard remover on my team. I always want to go with at least two hazard removers just to be safe. But since Serena got sniped, I decided to go with Rose Raid. I've never used Rose Raid ever, but I'm gonna see how it does. I know it gets hazard set up with spikes and toxic spikes, and I know it's a great offensive mon with great coverage, Dazzling Gleam for the dragon types, Sludge Bomb and Grass. It's a good offensive combo in my opinion. It gets Hidden Power and Technician, which is amazing really. And it can even be run support, maybe special defensive or assault vest with a Sleep Powder and Leech Seed and Toxic or something like that. Maybe I'll run a special defense variant with those moves. It also gives me a cleric, which I don't think this is too reliable as a cleric, but I'll deal with it. If I really need one, I'll slap aromatherapy on this and be on my merry way. But I think most of the time I'm just gonna either set up a hazard with it, or just try to hit something hard with it. Next we have Skunk Tank, and I think I explained a lot why I picked Skunk Tank, because Mokalalan got sniped and I needed another defogger. Not needed, more like wanted, because Skarmory is such a great hazard remover. Skarmory just hazard control in general. But yeah, we're not talking about Skarmory, we're talking about Skunk Tank. It has great typing, Poison and Dark, beautiful typing, only weak to ground. And the advantage of Skunk Tank is that it can be run either physical or special, but I don't know if that's much of a good thing, because it's not a very offensive mon. It's just gonna take some hits and then die because it doesn't get any recovery moves. But I could run Dark Pulse and Fire Blast maybe for some steel types. I don't know. Maybe most of the time it's just gonna come in and defog something. The only downside I see, not the only downside, one of the downsides I see of Skunk Tank is that he doesn't get knockoff, which is one of the best dark type moves in the meta. But but it's not too bad. I could run Pursuit and trap someone. I could run Taunt. Sucker Punch is a really good move, and its ability Aftermath, uh, it's it's actually really good. It just takes 1/4 of the HP if you kill it with a contact move, and that's pretty awesome. Next on the list we have Golem. Okay, the only reason I picked Golem is to patch some fire weakness and to have a ground type. And I really originally wanted to go with Rhydon because it gets Eviolite and it's so much better than this mon. I'll be honest, I don't like Golem. It's one of the most run-of-the-mill Pokemon in the meta. It's there's nothing that sticks this Pokemon out from the others. What you see is what you get. Earthquake, Stone Edge, Stealth Rocks. That's it. That's how much of a set you're gonna get from Golem. You get Sucker Punch, I guess, but I don't think that's enough for it to stand out above the other Pokemon. I don't really like it, but I really needed someone to patch, something to patch the fire weakness of my team, and I needed a ground type, so I decided to go with this. So next is Zangoose. I originally wanted to go with Tauros, but that got sniped. But I'm not too mad. Tauros was expendable. There's a lot of great normal Pokemon in the tier 5, and Zangoose is one that I've wanted to use for a while. I know what it does. I think everyone knows what it does because it's basically one thing. Just put a Toxic Orb on it, Source Dance, Facade everything. And not just Facade everything, if there's a Ghost type you can knock off. Or if there's a Steel type, you close combat. It's just there to sweep. If you see a Zangoose on a team, you know it's just gonna try and sweep your team. And he also gets Quick Attack, which is pretty reliable for this mon specifically, with the Toxic Orb plus the Source Dance. And that's about it for my draft analysis. Again, thanks to Chris and Vergoth for letting me participate this season. I really like my team, aside from the obvious turd, but I got good members in general to make up for this piece of shit. And yeah, I think that's about it. My first week match is gonna be against Ballas and the Saint Catherine Suicunes. I hope I'm pronouncing that okay. And yeah, that's all about for now. Joy River Up, out.